I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, December the 30th, brought to you in part by the International Brangus Breeders Association. Brangus, nothing fake here, just real ranchers raising top quality beef. To find a breeder or a production sale, visit gobrangus.com. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. I know we did here at my house, and glad to be back, getting back to work, be back with you every business day here from now on, except for maybe New Year's Day. But we're going to get back to business. New Year's is not as big a holiday as Christmas as far as the cattle business goes. A lot of your big high volume sales this Monday are going to be shut down. Continued with the holiday break, but there's going to be a lot of regional sales that are going to be back open, and we're going to be back to business for the most part, with the exception of New Year's Day, and there'll be a lot of sales that'll be having New Year's Day sales. But we're going into this new year with a head of steam, a lot of optimism. We just have really enjoyed all-time record beef demand, and I think we can go down with 2019 as the best beef demand that we've ever had. If you just look at how much production we've had, how many loads we've moved, the market that we've been able to maintain through all that, despite so many boundaries and barriers in that. You look at the things that we've had this record beef demand in the face of. We have a big health drive right now. A lot of so-called health nuts out there that think that you shouldn't eat red meat, but we've also got a lot of people that are enjoying the keto diet and using that. It's not a whole lot different than the Atkins diet that we had several years ago that helped a lot of beef demand, knowing that if you have a lot of protein, it's not so bad for you, and it works pretty good. So we've seen record beef demand in the face of all that. We've seen record beef demand in the face of all these fake meat products that are coming out, and even though we had a lot of a boom there really on your stock market as they went public there with Beyond Beef, really, we haven't seen it take that much of our market share yet. Nothing like we have in the fake milk, fake dairy products department yet. I think people are starting to figure that deal out. There's so many ingredients in there, and they just can't compete with a whole food like beef, and people are starting to shy away from that, and I think it could be a fad. In some of your big metropolitan areas, people still think they're saving the world by doing that, but I do think that people are not foolish enough to think that it's more healthy to eat those fake products. But we've seen record beef demand in the face of our fake meat. We've seen record beef demand in the face of no labels on our meat in our grocery stores for the most part, and people don't really know where their meat's coming from. And they're not sure if it's all American USA beef or not. And we're seeing a lot of drives for people to push for that and to demand USA beef. But so far we haven't seen much happen as far as labels in there. You have a few of your smaller labels that are putting that on there, just kind of in your niche markets, but on a big commercial basis, we're not seeing it, but we're still seeing record beef demand in spite of that. We're still seeing record beef demand in spite of trade disruptions that we've seen as Trump has been trying to fix some of these disparages we see in our trade and get things back more fair and more right for our country, and now we're starting to get to the point where those are turning around. As we go into this new year, we're going to see Japan coming back and buying a lot more of our beef, and we hope to get that back up to the levels of pre-BSE or pre-Mad Cow before 2003, when they were our biggest customer, and then they backed off where they're taking hardly anything, and we're hoping to get that going again. Now we're starting to see China come in and start to buy more of our ag products, and they're having such a problem with their protein levels out there because they have that African swine fever outbreak that has just devastated their protein production, mostly on the hog side there, but they're just really short, and they're having to bring in a lot from other countries, and we're being able to fill in behind that, and we're getting that back going again. We're going to see some more unilateral trade deals with some of these other countries in Europe as we start moving forward, and all those things are going to be better for our beef trade. We've got this new USMC, which is not going to be a whole lot different than NAFTA as far as that goes, but it is going to be inked in, and it's going to probably get our trade back more normal like we used to see. So, but we've seen record beef demand in spite of the trade disruptions, and it's just been a really unbelievable how great our beef demand has been, how good it's been, especially domestically, but also for overseas trade. And we're really lucky with that. We've gone through a tough year where we're going to set an all-time record for cattle producers getting the smallest percentage of the retail beef price. A lot of that had to do with the aftermath of the fire with the Tyson Fresh Meats plant there in Holcomb, Kansas. We've got an investigation going there. We did see a lot of evidence of packer collusion and some unfair trade practices. Supposedly the government's looking into that. We haven't heard anything yet, but we're going to start to see those reports coming in, and everything that we see as far as our beef looks like it's going to be another banner year for our beef trade and demand, and that all spells great for our market. And on the other end, our supplies are going to be smaller because we've just harvested so many of our beef cows, and so many of our heifers have been fed and slaughtered that we're going to start getting this supply deal back in our favor. All of these things are just bullish, bullish, bullish. How fast that takes off, I do think coming into January here, these first sales are going to be quite a bit higher. Maybe not because of all the things I've been talking about, but for the most part because we haven't had a lot of cattle moving for the last week or two. And it's opened up a little bit of pen space, and that's what we really needed, was pen space in these feedlots. They're so full, and so full of new cattle coming in, and we saw that with the kind of bearish cattle on feed report we had right before the holiday week. Had big numbers of lightweight cattle, even under 600 pounds, going into the feedlot, and that made up for most all of your rise in placements there. And so we didn't see any bearishness on the board through the holiday week because of that slightly bearish cattle on feed report. But you know, we're going to be going in here with some higher prices right in here as we start our early sales because we've got some pen space opened up now. How much that carries forward, I don't know, but I just think that we're going to be on the upswing pretty much going into 2020 all the way through, and probably won't see it climax until we get into the next spring in 2021. But lots of things to look forward to here in the cattle business, and you guys should be pretty excited about what we have laying ahead of us. Let's look at the board through the holiday week. December live cattle futures, Monday was up 17 cents, Tuesday up a quarter, Wednesday was Christmas, of course, Thursday up 62 cents, and Friday up 22, with your December live cattle futures ending the week at 123.50, up $1.28 compared to the end of the previous week. February contracts ended at 126.70, gaining 90 cents through the holiday week. January feeder cattle, Monday was down 75, Tuesday up a nickel, Wednesday closed for Christmas, Thursday up $1.87 on Thursday, that was Major League, and Friday up another dime, with January feeder cattle contracts ending the week at 145.50, gaining $1.23 during the holiday week. March ended at 144.80, gaining 43 cents. Our fat cattle trade was very quiet through the first part of the holiday week, through Christmas, even Thursday. Through Thursday, we had only sold 1,100 head negotiated cash in your 5-area feeding region, which is nothing. We had a few live sales there at 122 and a few dress deals at 192, but just really nothing at all. Friday was a different deal. Friday, your packers come out and were very aggressive. If you were trying to keep up with the trade like what I do, you know, on our phones with several contacts, texting back and forth what we're hearing, what's going on. It was almost like an auction the way it was going. We had bids that were just getting raised, bing, bang, bang, and then your regionals were slightly ahead, and then your majors would come in right behind and just raising bids until they started securing some cattle and started getting a lot of gates swinging and cattle selling out in the feedlots there. But on Friday, the bulk of your live sales were $2 higher at 122. The bulk of your dress sales $3 higher at 195. That's fantastic, gaining that kind of ground late in the year there during a holiday week. But you look at the breakdown on some of your Midwestern states there in the 5-area feeder region. Iowa, about 7,100 head confirmed. There will be more than that, but that's what they had confirmed through the early part of the day on Friday in Iowa, with live sales from 122 to 123 and fairly split, quite a bit of 123 there on some of those clean confinement top quality cattle there. And on dress sales 194 to 196, but largely 195. Nebraska, 13,700 head confirmed. Like I said, there'll be more than that. None of the Western trade was on there, and they didn't get all of the Central and Eastern trade either. But pretty good movement there, even confirmed there early in the day. But sales were 121.5 to mostly all 122. Like I say, that's fully $2 higher. Dress sales 195 to 196, real heavy on the 195. Kansas, through the Friday afternoon there, they didn't have much confirmed because most all of the trade in the Southern Plains happened a little bit later when consolidated beef producers started selling their show lists and moving a lot of cattle. But quite a bit of trade in Kansas, Texas, and Colorado. But you know that Texas and Colorado don't print out reports anymore because of confidentiality. They're looking at trying to get something done about that whenever they re-up mandatory price reporting. But for now, we don't get to see a whole lot until we get the whole wrap-up, which will be out Monday, and we'll talk about that on our next visit. But in the Southern Plains, most all of your trade was at 122. Did hear some rumors of a few deals here and there in Texas at 123, but no confirmation on that, but several people discussing it. But a great fat cattle trade, gaining money there on holiday week, with the holiday disrupting everything right in the middle of the week, and several of your plants kind of being dark parts of the day there through the week and not just on Christmas. So pretty encouraging there too. And like I said, everything just continues to be encouraging. Box beef cutout values kind of found a bottom because we've seen them drop quite a bit here in the last few weeks. But we've really narrowed that choice select spread down. Choice cuts there for the week, your weighted average for the week's trade, which is as the week as a whole come together, what your main price was. And on choice cuts it was $210.23. That was down $1.40 compared to the weighted average from the previous week. But on selects, your weighted average was $204.82, up $2.31. Well, that continues to narrow that choice select spread. Is just now $5.41, which is going to be good for your average guys that are sending stuff in on the grid, grade and yield, because they're not going to take much of a discount on their selects. But maybe not quite so good for some of these premium sellers that are looking at really topping the market compared to what everybody else is getting that are selling negotiated cash, because there's not going to be too great of premiums available on some of those grids now, and it's sure going to change the way guys will want to market their cattle, because we've just got hardly any difference between choice and select carcasses now. But fairly light load run there, but not bad for Christmas week. But 419 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter for the week, 468,000, which seems small, but compared to last year on the Christmas week, we're 26,000 more this week. So continuing to keep up with that at a good clip. Your slaughter for the year as we're running right here, the last few days was up 1.2% for the year. Your hog slaughter was up 4% for the year. So record red meat production right there, and just a lot of protein on the market and continuing to move it. And it's just unbelievable. I think we have to really appreciate the demand we have for our red meat and especially our beef. What else can we talk about? I told you guys that we're having a lot of replacement sales late in the year there, right around the holidays and things. People wanting to spend money. I don't know too many people that had a tax problem, but depending on their diversification they might have. But a lot of guys, especially in Nebraska, herd reductions and herd dispersals. And a lot of that has had to do with the weather that they had through the spring and just the rough times they've had trying to keep going there. But they were rewarded. This market's really come up for replacements here in the last couple of months. If you'd have tried to sold those back in the summer or shortly after the spring when all that was fresh on their mind, you wouldn't have got along nearly as well. But pretty good dispersal there. They had a big one in Burwell, Nebraska, and Burwell does not take second place to anybody when it comes to quality, being able to sell really top quality Sandhill, Nebraska type cattle there, and they really have good replacement sales. And they had a great one there over the holidays there. 3,900 head on a 2-day sale, 2-day special cow week there. 800 head of open and slaughter cows sold the first day with some young thin things that we're going back to feed to in there. But a big run of replacement bred heifers, bred cows, and I'll give you a kind of a rundown on those. On the bred heifers, the top quality bred heifers for spring calving in their third stage, 1,500 to 1,950. Caught most of them. Your younger bred cows, 17.5 to 2,150. We had your middle-aged kind of cows, bred cows, and mostly all in their third stage for early spring calving, 1,500 to 1,910. Your older cows from 1,100 to 1,400, and then your aged broken mouth cows, 8.5 to 1,050. But thought that was a pretty good run of sales there, just considering all the struggles that they've had in that part of the country. It's been so wet up there. It's still wet around. A lot of flooding that happened this spring. Had a horrible, wet, cold, miserable winter, and just hoping that we can keep as many producers in the business as we can, because a lot of the older people and the average age of your cow-calf man's got quite a few gray hairs. They're kind of dropping out, and we hate to see that. We need to keep as many producers in the business as we can to keep these small ranch communities and these farm towns together. What's going to happen this week? Well, let's look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index from DV Auction late in the week to start this new week at 145.38, dropped just 24 cents during the holiday week, and that's pretty good because we just had a few little hodgepodge sales here, not any big strings of cattle to sell, and that was a pretty good feat there, holding that as well as it did during the holiday week with hardly any receipts in there. But you got Oklahoma City is going to be shut down again here on Monday. Joplin Regional Stockyard is going to be shut down again here on Monday, but they will be back to work on Thursday with a special weanback sale. One sale that is going to be open here on Monday, pretty big regional sale there, is Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri. They're a DV Auction customer. You can go on to dvauction.com, view and bid on that sale right there, starting just about 12:30 in the afternoon, and that's just the way they've always done it there at Callaway. But they've got 2,200 head plus in there. Be a lot of really nice cattle. Talked to Jack Harrison, and I want to give Jack Harrison a pat on the back. He's going to be taking all the reins now. John, his father there, has been around there and been a market man for many, many years. He's a legend in central Missouri there, a top-notch auctioneer, and has been all of his life. Pretty much gave Ralph Wade his start right there. But David Means has been a partner in that sale for a long, long time. He's decided to kind of step back and go into retirement or semi-retirement there. I'm sure he's got plenty of things to do and got cattle around and things, but not going to be a partner in the sale anymore. So Jack has bought David out there. John Harrison is still involved, but Jack is pretty much going to be calling the shots, and Jack has really started to get aggressive in promoting his sale, in promoting the cattle that he's moving through there and supporting his customers there, and now on DV Auction, and going to be broadcasting all of his sales right there. You can view and bid online, like I said, every sale day. And this Monday right here, he's got 15 straight pot loads of fancy green all black yearlings. If you guys need some, they've got them right there at Callaway Livestock Center, and I'll guarantee you, you'll like them. The weigh-up's better than most sales you'll go to in that part of the country, and the quality is just as good as anywhere you can find. But he'll have a lot of good calves in there as we start moving into these winter months, and you guys are starting to buy your light calves to straighten up for grass. You want to get in early on them, because there's not going to be many of them around. If you wait till March or April, you're going to get the bottom of the barrel, because you better get in on these light, good green calves if you want to get those to turn out on those big pastures early this spring. They'll have lots of them in Callaway at Kingdom City, Missouri there. But be sure and tune in on that sale. Like I said, view and bid at 12:30. And that wraps up your feeder flash for Monday.